Hey, what's up? It's Tauren Wells, and you're watching Celeb Secrets TV. Yeah, it's been amazing being here in New York, being at Barnes & Noble on the square. This is crazy. I actually used to work at Barnes & Noble in Battle Creek, Michigan, and so to see my book on the shelf is wild. Actually, they've tried to kick me out about 3 or 4 times, and I want to let them know I'm a published author here. So fun seeing the book, especially here in Barnes & Noble. We went through a lot of different covers and tried to figure out what exactly would pop if people saw it on the shelf, and it's amazing to see it in real life. Probably Joy in the Morning, which actually was a big part of the genesis of this idea. So what sparked the idea of the book was learning that the word blessed in the original language meant happy. So the first word that Jesus ever says in his first inaugural sermon is happy are the poor in spirit, happy are those who mourn. And then as I was singing the song Joy in the Morning every night in concerts all over the world, I realized that God actually gave us the mechanism of mourning to deliver us from the grip of grief. And that's the only way that joy is possible, even in the midst of our greatest pain. To drop a joy bomb in someone's life is really just me echoing what I feel like Jesus was saying in Matthew 5 when he shares the Beatitudes, which is the most profound teaching on joy in human history. But the way that he directs us to joy actually shatters all of our misconceptions about happiness. And so you kind of have to pick up the pieces and put them back together the way God intended to experience real happiness. You can expect in this book, it's joy bomb. So every chapter is a code. So like code 1 is happy are the spiritually bankrupt. Code 2 is happy are the desperately sad. Code 3, happy are the intentionally humble, so on and so forth. It actually gives us almost an upside down approach to how we experience a joy that never runs out. Yeah, there were a few, but the chapter about being pure in heart, the scripture says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see the Lord. And just talking about how you have to be authentic and honest and vulnerable with your struggles, naming your emotions, identifying your issues so that you can actually experience God's healing. And I kind of shared some of my healing journey in that. That's a good question. One unexpected thing that brought joy in the writing of this book was how bought in my boys were to the whole idea. They were my first test audience. I asked them, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about Joy Bomb? And they were into it. So they helped me design the cover. And of course, the dedication is in there to them as well. But they have owned it. My 4-year-old son actually named all of the people following the book the Bomb Squad, which I thought was pretty genius. I think that throughout the course of reading this book, you will be given the keys to unlock a happiness and a joy that you didn't really think was possible, but it's going to take some bravery and some courage to actually step into some of these lessons that I had to learn the hard way so that you can get these things under your belt earlier in life than I did. Something that I learned about myself was that I can actually start a project and see it through to the very end. As a creative type, we love to start things. It's a little bit more challenging to finish things. And this is evidence today that even a creative ADHD person can see a project through to the finish line. Probably not. There probably aren't very many behind the scenes secrets because we have documented every part of this. Like, for instance, I was the first person to pre-order my own book on Amazon. And so I was the first person to put the book on the shelf at a Barnes & Noble in Tampa. And so I've been all along the way making sure this wasn't a complete failure. My EP, Let the Church Sing, just released a few months ago. And the songs really were an outflow of the time leading up to my family moving to Austin, Texas to plant a brand new life-giving church called Church of Whitestone. And so songs like Making Room, The Room Is Yours, They're songs about encounter, actually creating space for the Spirit of God to move into our lives. Songs like Not Guilty and Thank You for the Cross talks about the power of Jesus' love and the power of the blood. And then, of course, the title track, Let the Church Sing, is like a fun, joyful anthem on the things that we all agree on, because there are many things in the world we disagree on, but the one thing we agree on is that Jesus is King and that he is the Lord of his church. This really isn't a genre, but I think moving more into like corporate worship type songs is something that you're going to be hearing from even my most recent EP, Let the Church Sing, and the album that comes out in the fall. Yes, well, I don't really have a lot of information about the upcoming album, except I've written some songs. They're in process of being recorded, and I can't wait for people to hear it. I think one kind of taboo topic in the church is that people have the idea that you're supposed to get good or become better and then go to church. And actually, Jesus is not necessarily concerned primarily with a moral code. He wants your heart. He wants to pour his love into your heart and for that love to transform you from the inside out. So we have this thing, no perfect people allowed. If you find a perfect church, don't go, because you'll probably mess it up. That is a great question. Probably Will Smith, Justin Bieber, and probably Timothy, how do you say his name? Chalamet? Yeah, probably those guys. I feel like they have joyful personas, and I think introducing them into an even deeper flow of joy would change their lives.